Shalom. I'll start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor unto YAHAWAH, BaHa, YAHWASHI, BaHa, QADASH. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to just say, Vocab, you're an abomination. You know, why do I say that? Proverbs 17 and 15. He that should go about to justify the wicked and condemn the just, even they both are an abomination. And that's exactly what you're doing in this clip here with this guy. All right, this nervous Edomite who's hoping that everything you say is true. All right, because he wants to get intel about the Hebrew Israelites and you being Agent Reezer. All right, who, you know, I believe the higher up set you up. You know, you're a spy, you know, against the Hebrew Israelites. You're an adversary, which, you know, the Lord, you know, rose you up to play that position. All right, you're you know, one of our you know, adversaries that try to play humble, you know, hiding behind the Christian role. But I think we know better than that. But anyway, I'm just going to, you know, kind of respond. I'm not going to play the whole video, but there's a few things that you said. All right, and as regard to them small hat people, you know, our views on the so-called small hat people, you know, you definitely helping to push their wicked agenda when you throw out that anti-SIM card word. All right, it's no different than throwing out the word homophobic. You know, all these new political coin phrase or terms to demonize people, you know, when they can, you know, when they have a belief or a view that's contrary, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna just play it and then, you know, just commentate.
Attitudes, generally speaking, towards what most of us would consider actually Jewish people, say the nation of Israel, that kind of thing. What's their attitude?
I'm just going to say it, and they're going to be mad at me. And I love them, but they need the truth. I've never met a Hebrew Israelite who's not an anti-Semite. Never. Now, they'll say, how can we be anti-Semitic? We are Semitic.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not even a good argument, and it's assuming the issue anyway.
See, you already know what we're going to say. But when we say it, you say it's not a good argument. Why isn't it a good argument? How can somebody that comes out of SHAM say that they're anti-SHAM? Because the word anti-Semitic is a made-up term. That's not real. Prior to Nazi Germany, that term didn't even exist. What were you being called prior to that time? And we've made lessons on it before. How is it that that term only applies to that one small group of people when we know that there were several families that come up out of SHAM? You can go into the genealogy of the Shemites. All right, you got Elam, they come out of SHAM. Aram comes out of SHAM. Okay. You know, you have the whole line, you know, Arphaxad, Peleg, Sarug. And these men went on to have families. Everybody that descends from SHAM would be considered a Shemite. So if we say that these people, all right, who are our adversaries, all right, who's in control of the world, who was instrumental in the slave trade, all right, who owned slaves, who did all these atrocities, but hid behind victimhood of a particular event over 100, well, just about 100 years ago, if that, not even fully 100 years ago. But yet, everywhere you find them, they, I mean, the case just continues to expand on a list of things that they've been involved with, that they've done against the true holy people. And you want to justify them. This is why we believe you're one of them. And answer this. All these years, they've been attacking those Palestinians. Or those people that are all around those borders, the Gaza Strip, Palestine. They've been they've been known to kill, even innocent, the women and the children, or civilians. How isn't that considered anti-Shemitic? Aren't those Shemitic peoples too? But, this is what I'm talking about. But let's continue to hear some more, and then of course we'll bring out some precepts.
Even the nicest Hebrew Israelite seems to have a strong distaste towards anything they think is Jewish. And they call them Khazars.
Well, that hatred, it really stems going back to the beginning. Let's go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And that hate is reciprocated. It goes both ways. We strongly don't like them, and they strongly don't like us. All right. This is why they refer to us as the Goyim. This is why our people are the prime targets of a lot of their agendas. Who were the people first on the list when it came to them serum shots? Who was they setting up and using to pacify our people, all right, or get our people to get comfortable, with these experiments, all right? Who took over the music industry, all right? Who owns, all these record companies, and allowed it to turn into what it turned into so that they can exploit and capitalize? Who did that? To perpetuate a detrimental culture, all right, to a people that keeps them paid in multi-millionaires / billionaires. I'm just saying. Anyway, Genesis 3:15, it says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel." All right, and this has been the dynamic since then. That's not going to change. Okay, we were going to be adversaries, since our existence. All right, even to this very day. And of course, when you look up that word enmity, and it says what? Enmity, hatred, all right, hostility. So that's always going to be there. That's why we believe in the spirit that serpent came back to be Cain, which came back to be Esau, which is why that hate never left. We know that Jacob supplanted Esau for that birthright. And when he realized what happened, that hatred began to activate. Then the days of mourning my father at hand will I slay my brother Jacob. It said that he hated his brother because of the blessing, forgetting that he was the one that sold it to his brother. So now skip forward, they're saying that they're Jacob, and according to the blessing, the nations are supposed to serve you, bow to you. You're to receive the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven. Who got the fatness of the earth? Who's in control? Who got everybody serving them? Who got all nations sending billions of dollars in aid to them every year? Look who's over Ukraine right now, and all this money just being dished out while we're in the midst of an economic meltdown, still able to dish out all this money to that particular government who's backed by what people. Exactly. They get all this special treatment. Meanwhile, Jake over here still talking about reparation. When we helped build this whole kingdom up. So you tell me, all right? But anyway, of course you would be angry because, these people, they everywhere you look, they're in position. And they're the same people we got to go to for the one of all things. And that's under the curse. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to them. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. How does that apply to them? They're not under that curse, but we're under it. We got to go to them for loans. Jake want to get out the hood. Jake want to, make it into the NFL, the NBA, or the music industry, which is all satanic, by the way. You gotta sell your soul and serve Satan to do so. But that's who they gotta go to make it big. So, yeah, man. The nerve of this guy. Salakia, man. I don't know why that's just let me. All right, here we go.
And they call them Khazars. So they believe in the Khazarian theory, which is basically they're frauds. They use Revelation 2:9.
It's not a theory. That's their history. All right. Look up Khazaria and that empire. All right, which Khazar means wanderer, like a vagabond, a traveler. And you think about it, that's that's why they're all over the place. They're not scattered all over the world because of the curse. No, they scattered because they've been on a run. All right. But yeah, they go back to that history. All right. When you had Kagan Bullen, all right, who converted them. All right. And, going back to was it the 8th century? That was when they began to convert. Let me see something. Yep. Jews of Khazaria, brief history and other resources. Remarkably, the Khazars, a people of Turkic origin, converted to Jewish religion sometime in the 9th century, beginning with the royal house and spreading gradually among the general populace. Judaism is now known to have been more widespread among the Khazar inhabitants of the Khazar kingdom than was previously thought. All right. So yeah, these were Edomites who came down, all right, into further down into Europe. All right, you had the Ottoman Empire, you know, which were those Ottoman Turks. They converted to Islam, which is why you see predominantly Turkey being an Islamic state, you know, a country. But you had a lot of converts to Judaism. And that was the ones who identified as being so-called Jews. Okay? But we know that these people are not the real people. Just because they took on that religion, that doesn't make them the people. But that's the history. This ain't no theory. So there it is, man. And you can go further into the history. That's a whole nother lesson. Okay. Anyway, let's go back.
Theory, which is basically they're frauds. They use Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 against them to say they're the synagogue of Satan. They believe, some of them, that they're descendants of Amalek, so sort of one of the worst tribes out of the Edomites.
And just a word on Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Now, we've always qualified those scriptures, even though at times we do apply it towards them because they are the ones saying or claiming that they are the real people. They're the Judites. We know that that's originally referring to wicked Israelites that were in the church. All right. Let's go there real quick. Let's go to Revelation 2 and 9. And it says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And this is to the church of Smyrna. All right, because, you know, you got Jews or Israelites that was a part of the church, but, you know, just like those wicked Jews that the apostles were encountering, where you had men of the circumcision, they knew that there was Israelites, but they were being hypocritical. All right, they were being Jews outwardly and not inwardly. You know, playing the part. You know, they were appearing outwardly righteous, but they was full of wickedness. Okay. And these men were, you know, they were living comfortable and doing well for themselves. They didn't feel like they, you know, they didn't have the fire. They didn't have the same zeal that, you know, the other churches had. So we apply this to you know, wicked Israelites. You got Israelites that are the synagogue of Satan, man. But it can be applied to them devils today because they're the ones saying that they are, and they're the ones in these synagogues wearing all black, which is witch colors. All right. You over in the Holy Land, you know, they beached themselves, they koshered unclean meat. All right. They got the biggest rainbow, the abominable acronym people. They have the parade, the biggest parades for them every year. They didn't manage to turn the Holy Land into a sin city. You don't ever do videos on them. I wonder why. You won't condemn them, which the scriptures tell you to, but you'll speak up against us. He that shall justify the wicked and condemn the just, even they both are an abomination. Okay? And the same applies for Revelation 3 and 9. Because you're going to have the Israelites who came up against the government on this side. All right? They're going to, when in the kingdom, they're going to have their head down. It's going to be a rank and order in the kingdom. And they're gonna bow themselves, before the top men that follow YAHAWASHI. Okay. So anyway,
So sort of one of the worst tribes out of the Edomites, the Amalekites, because they're historic enemies to Israel. So they actually think they're like a head tribe of Edom, and Edom's also a historic enemy of Israel. So
they actually are. And that's why the Lord said, especially they was the first ones to rise up against us when we came out of Egypt. All right. And they waged war against us. All right. When you read, was that Deuteronomy? Was it not Deuteronomy? I think it's Exodus. Yeah, Exodus 17. And verse 14, it says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." This is what the Lord said against that hierarchy of Edomites. All right, they came out of a duke. Okay, these were chief rulers of Edom. And you look today, they're still the chief rulers. Look at all the names of the people who owns all these record executive companies, all the printing press, the magazine companies, all the media, all of the pharmaceutical industry. You already know who owns and runs the banking industry, who runs and owns the banks. We don't even have to talk about that. All right, so they're the head right now. They're the head of the nations. All right, like when you go to Numbers, the 24th chapter. Let me go there real quick. And this was when Balaam, he got that vision from the Lord and he saw the end from the beginning. Yeah, this was a heathen that got a vision. We never said that heathens can't get visions. All right. But this is what he saw. And this is what the Lord said. By Numbers 20, it's lucky I meant to go to 24. Yeah, this is Numbers 24. And I'm going to start at I start at 19. It says, "Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have the dominion, which is our Lord YAHAWASHI, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations." All right, which what does it mean to be first? It means basically to be chief, like the head, man. Ra'ashiath, which goes back to the word Ra'ash, which means basically the head. First order or rank. All right. From the word Ra'ash, which King David, he used this word. You see in the definition, it said head, top, summit. Like that at the top of a mountain. Who's at the top of these summit meetings? Them small hats, man. They're the ones that run and control these summits and meetings, man. The WEF, who's the main guy? Schwab. So they're at the top of that, the top government on earth. The head, the top, the summit, the upper part. And, you know, David, when he was over all the nations, he said that I've become head of the heathen, which uses this same word, Ra'ash. So these people will be at the top of the world when he that out of Jacob shall come to have dominion. They're going to be at the top. They're going to be basically running the world when our Lord shows up. So that means what? Amalek will still be the duke. Esau will still be in power. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And that's why he said to Moses that it will be a memorial. All right, that basically it will be war with them forever. So talk about that enmity. You wonder why there's a strong dislike between both. All right, back in Exodus 17 and 16, for he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right. And you know, part of, you know, them throwing an anti-SIM card at us and, you know, trying to use certain guys to frame the whole Israelite community. All right. I mean, come on, man. That's them waging war. All right. They wage war against us every day. But Vocab is going to defend them and condemn us, though. But you ain't one of them, though? No, I believe you are. We believe you are. And with that last name, yeah, you are. All right? And that's why we believe you're Haman. Haman was one of them. Haman was an Agagite, which goes back to Amalek. And we saw that the intense hatred, and you read in the history, the intense hatred that Haman had for the real Judites. But anyway, I mean, I can always come back and do a part 2 and finish up, respond to this devil, but I'm going to just cut it right there because there's so much evidence, man. But you want to continue to defend them, well, defend that Babylonian Talmud too. Because we've been asking for years about your opinion on that. And if you can actually go into some of the teachings in that. How about being balanced? How about not being partial in judgment? You're being biased when you could just point out everything on us. But the people that you're defending, you never seem to have anything to say. As if they're innocent. That's why I say you're an abomination, man. And you refuse, you're afraid to say one thing about that rainbow community too. Silence is compliance. Anyway, I'm going to end off with that. Call Lord YAHAWASHI. Shalom.